Hello, my name is Aki Anastasiou and welcome to George. We are at the Southern African Telecommunications Networks and Applications Conference, also known as SATNAC. Now this conference is a conference where they discuss all the latest technological networking issues that faces the industry and what they can do to improve things. And this year is no exception. They are talking about the Internet of Things, smart homes, cities, an evolution or a tsunami. And you know the technological challenges we face with connectivity here in Africa and in South Africa in particular. They're talking about connecting 50 billion devices in the next decade. So all of these devices talking to each other. Are networks ready? What needs to be done to fix and sort these problems out? And broadband, a big issue, getting this broadband to so many different people so that they can be connected to the internet. And as we know how important the internet is in so many different aspects of economies, from education to medicine. Let's find out what SATNAC 2012 is all about.
Urban, corporate and business parks, generally disposable income is higher, and the needs that are coming out from our market research is for higher speed broadband.
But the focus for today's discussion is essentially on the kickoff of our high-speed broadband up to 40 megabit per second.
Bashir Saleh is a managing director for networks at Telkom, so he basically ensures that the whole network is stable, and he's the one who's responsible to getting the speeds up high. He's in charge of the network. Bashir, big announcement, 20 and 40 megabit services. That's really high speeds that we're looking at from Telkom. It's on a trial at the moment.
It is a very exciting announcement to Aki. It's maybe late out of the starting blocks, but certainly something that I think is absolutely crucial for us to do, especially with South Africa becoming as internet hungry as the rest of the world, and especially higher speeds broadband. So, there's a lot of talk about mobile, HSPA speeds, 40 meg and up. But I do think that the kind of latency and jitter that a fixed line connection brings for you is why it is that we really need to proliferate with high-speed broadband from a fixed perspective. And I think we will be rolling out the high-speed broadband pilot in 5 areas, 3 of which is in the Greater Gauteng area, Pretoria, Sandton and Fourways, and 2, the one in Durbanville in the Western Cape and the other one in Durban North.
So when we're talking about high-speed internet connectivity, we're not talking about just searching for things on Google or sending your emails, because that's evolved to a lot more than just doing those small things today. We're talking about connecting your home, your cameras at home, alarm systems, for example, health monitoring, for example. Your fridge is connected to the internet. But most important, well, for some of us, is the fact that you're able to do so much more entertainment at home. Think about your Xbox, think about your PlayStation 3, think about your television broadcast. And the next generation of the internet is being able to watch movies streamed directly to your television. Now you can't do that with a slow internet connection. You need to have a fast, super high speed internet connection, which is where the latest announcement from Telkom comes in, where they announced today that they will be piloting a 20 and 40 megabit service per second streaming service, well, internet connectivity, an internet connection at least, which is really super high speed. When you look at the 4 meg lines that we have at the moment, it's a lot faster. So from Alcatel-Lucent, we've got Tim Nicholas who joins us today. Tim, this is a big announcement. Yeah. I mean, it's like what, 10 times faster than the current speed that people have.
Most people have 4 megabits per second into the home. So now we have 20 megabits and 40 megabits into the home. And this is the current Telkom DSL modem that you have connected here. And that's what's being announced now.
Okay.
And on that, we are streaming a high definition video off the internet. So this is just a HD streaming video off the internet, and that's running, so that's about 8 megabits per second.
Okay, so let me get an idea over here. So this is the new high-speed internet access that we have, and right now you are streaming a high-definition movie
off the internet.
Off the internet onto your television.
Onto the television, as it is. So that's, and you can see the quality. There's no stuttering, there's no moving, there's no jumping. Everything is completely clean, and that's straight off the internet.
If you look at it, what happens in the background, if you look at a typical exchange, it looks something like this, where you have all of these things racked up like this. This is what happens in the background when your internet is connected at home and the movie's going through and emails are going through. This is obviously thousands of connections that are happening right now, but it's quite interesting to see what actually happens in the background. Right now, Tim is going to be showing us the next generation, which is fiber, and this is really super high speed. If we thought 40 megabits per second was fast, this is double and triple.
Well, we're going to show you now. So what we have here is we have high definition services, and in this case we can run 4 or 5 full high definition services at the same time. So this set-top box is already able to record 4 high definition streams at the same time. So we're not going to show all of that. It's a fiber-based solution, but with a passive connection. So in the outside plant, there's no power there. So we have one shared fiber to multiple homes, and in those homes we can deliver up to, from the back end it's 2.5 gigabits, but we can deliver several tens of megabits or even hundreds of megabits.
So this is where fiber makes the massive difference, is that it just takes so much more pressure and you can do things so much faster and cleaner as opposed to the old copper networks.
That's correct. And more simply, so we're going to show you an example of what it looks like in an existing Telkom service. So that's what you have today, the maximum of 10 megabits per second. So it's you'll see that run a little bit. We're going to change it at the back end. Okay, so now we have a 40 megabit service running. So that was all that was required to change. That's how simple it is to change the bandwidth now on a fiber-based solution. We had a 10 megabit service. Now we have a 40 megabit service. So that's equivalent to what we can do on the VDSL. And now we're going to show you, we're going to ramp it up to 100 megabits per second. And there you have now, just at the management system, we changed the service to 100 megabits per second, going into the same home, and no impact on our TV. So we can still run our TV service. So that's our high definition VOD, and we're running 100 megabits per second high-speed internet.
So with 100 megabits per service, let's look at fiber. Typically a service like this, you can theoretically run all of your DSTV channels, watch 5 movies at the same time, do all your email, all the surfing, and download all your holiday pictures at the same time.
All at the same time.
This is what we're talking about, having that high-speed internet connectivity.
That's correct, all at the same time.
This morning, the professor who's hosting us here in George spoke about education and the importance about education in this whole process. Now, I know that Telkom has been involved in the centers of excellence across many universities across the country. So basically, you've got these students that are applying these real-life technologies and creating technologies of the future. Can you name some of the stars or some of the fascinating innovations that have come out of the centers of excellence over the years?
Aki, if I think of a couple of people, I mean, Amit Maharaj is heading up Telkom's mobile network, came out of the centers of excellence. A lady by the name of Nola Lamini, that's now with Vodacom, came out of the Center of Excellence. Our own guys like Vaughan Naidu, Dr. Richard Mayur, and there's a good couple of people. But I mean, those were the guys that were there. But I mean, I think when you interview the students, there are 2 very exciting youngsters. One talking about application for deaf people, another one about facial recognition. And really, these are young people, and for them, imagination has no limits. So I think if you interview those ones, you'll also get a better perspective.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. So we were speaking about the youngsters and the people that develop fascinating technologies from the universities. Now with us today, we have from the University of the Western Cape, Michael Motlabi, who has developed a very interesting mobile aid, okay? And this is to help deaf people, basically. So let's find out exactly what it is. Michael, how are you going to help deaf people?
Well, I'm going to basically bridge the communication barrier between a deaf person who can't use any other form of communication but only sign language, and a pharmacist who can only use written language. So our application, basically what it does is it stores a series of sign language videos that we have studied, the sentences that come in a pharmacy context, and then what it does is the pharmacist tells whatever the pharmacist types on the phone, we then translate into that South African sign language. The patient gets to the pharmacy right after seeing a doctor with a written prescription and our phone. So hence this phone back to the pharmacist. The pharmacist looks at the icons and obviously identifies that this is where they need to press, and if they press here they can go into prescribing. So this is explaining to the pharmacist patient information the pharmacist can view together with the patient card. And basically, if the patient is being treated for hypertension, for instance, yes, is this a repeat treatment? Yes. And let's give this one say multivitamins.
Yes.
Right? For now, it's in the form of a tablet. We take a picture of the medication. We click next. Frequency, how many times? 3 times a day, maybe take half.
Wow, that's brilliant, man.
Yeah. So all of this is actually being translated at the end into a sign language video that's just going to explain the whole thing as a sentence.
So, our next student that's been working on something really fascinating is from the University of Limpopo, and Mantiba Ramaboka has been developing an automatic speech recognition system for people with speech disorders. Now, that might sound a bit complicated and a bit confusing. It actually is. So we've got her here with us to tell us more about what work you've been doing. University of Limpopo, what exactly is this that you've been working on?
This research is all about improving the communication between a man and a computer. A speech recognition system, it takes a speech and convert it to text. A person speaks, then the computer types what the person said. Yes, but this one, we have someone design a baseline, the ESR baseline for Northern Sotho. Then my research is all about training the system with people who are stuttering. For example, if someone is stuttering, then it will take that speech and recognize it and type it into equivalent message.
Wow, that's amazing. So it does it from someone who can stutter in English or any specific language? Northern Sotho. So somebody who's Northern Sotho and stutters, you'll be able to translate that into what language?
Into equivalent text.
Okay. Well, that's brilliant. Now, you mentioned this is just a trial.
Yes.
When can we expect to see something like this becoming a reality, that a customer can go and say, I want 20, I want a 40 megabit line?
On a commercial basis, yeah. So, no, I don't want to preempt things, but certainly we believe that we will have a positive outcome as far as our trial is concerned, which will run until the end of January. In fact, I think we'll probably deliver a report a little bit before that, and hopefully we will start to deliver commercial services soon after that. Of course, we need to give proper notification to all of the service providers.
In the next year. Come on, Bashir. We'll be a year from now.
You're pressing me. Let me put it to you this way. I think if Telkom engineers had their way, we would have had it in commercial production already.
Fantastic, Bashir. Thank you.
Thank you, Aki.
Eyewitness News. In touch, in tune, and independent.